Chapter 4, Lesson 10. Getting close to the end of the chapter, which means chapter test coming. Okay, today we're doing a problem solving, and our strategy is estimate or exact answer. We need to look for those key words that tell whether we need an exact answer or whether an estimate is okay. And I've given you a thinking bubble about. About is the key word that you're going to look for, and that will help you know which one you have to do. Okay, there are 5 girls in Dina's Girl Scout troop. They are going to an amusement park. Children's tickets cost $22. What is the total cost of admission? And I would highlight, but it has the room for us to write it all out for this one. So the price of admission is $22 for each girl. There are 5 girls in Dina's Scout troop. What do you need to find? You need to find the total cost of admission and whether an estimate or exact answer is needed. The girls will need to know exactly how much to pay, so they need an exact answer. So we're going to find $22 times 5 girls. 22 times 5. So 5 times 2 is 10. You can either write it this way and put your 10 underneath, and then do 5 times 20, which is 100, and add those up. Or you can do the standard algorithm like I learned and like your parents learned, and set it up, and then do your regrouping, which will also get you the right answer. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 22 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. And you notice the answer in both cases is 110. So the troop needs $110 to go to the amusement park. For this problem, it wouldn't make sense to get an estimate because you need to know, like it said here, you need to know exactly how much to pay when you want to go to the amusement park. Now, the second example. Each motorized scooter at the scooter store costs $75. About how much would 7 motorized scooters cost? Is an estimate or an exact answer needed? Well, hopefully you saw your key word, about, and that tells me that I can use an estimate. So when I solve this problem, I do not need to multiply by 75. I can round up because when it's 5, we decided to round up. So I'm going to go down to my plan section, and 75 is going to round up to 80. And I have 7 scooters being sold. My basic fact here is 7. Look at that line. 7 times 8, which is 56. So 7 times 80 is 560. But I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? I need to write out what I know and the plan, since they've given us the room to do that. So the facts that we know from the problem are each scooter costs $75, and we're talking about 7 scooters. So that's what should be written on these lines. What do we need to find? Well, 2 things. We need to find about how much 7 scooters cost and whether we need an estimate or an exact answer. So that's how you fill in these lines on the chart. Our plan is we're going to multiply. First we're going to round 75 and multiply it by 7. So I'll write that for our plan. Round 75, then multiply by 7 to find the cost. And we've got our answer that I did earlier. Does my answer make sense? Now what the book did to check was they actually solved the original problem. And they saw that 525 is similar to 560. But I wanted to point out a common problem that students make and a mistake that happens, and that will help you see why checking your work is so important and why I ask you to write out the answer. Because a common mistake might be leaving off the 0 and just rounding and multiplying 8 times 7, or rounding 800 or changing the place value in some way. And 56 would be your answer if you drop the 0. And if you go back to the original problem and you've got $56 for 7 scooters. Okay, if one scooter costs $75 and we know we're buying 7, would it make sense that the cost of 7 scooters was 56? Not if one was 75, right? Cost of 7 should be a lot more than the cost of 1. So that's a way, and that's why I ask when you're solving these word problems, the best check is to actually write out the answer. The cost of 7 scooters is about $560. Then, if you made a mistake like this, you would see, oh, wait. If one scooter is 75 and I got 56, I must have made a mistake somewhere. So writing it out is a great way to check your work, and that's why I strongly advise you to do that. In fact, you will not get full credit if you do not. Write out the sentence answer for word problems where they give you a sentence question like this. That's the best way that I've found over the years for you to check your work without having to go back and solve the original problem, which was kind of not the point of rounding to begin with. Now I wanted to show you when you get to page 257 on the word problems, number 1 has you kind of jumping in the deep end. There's 2 things about this problem that I don't recall seeing before on our other lessons, so I wanted to point them both out. First, there's extra information. So let me make a little note. They give you extra information that you'll have to delete out before you solve the problem. You will not need all of these numbers in order to answer the question that they've given you. So that's something new that you haven't seen this year before, but you should have seen it in your other years. The other thing is it gives you the answer, and then you have to figure out what operation you're doing. So I got you started right here because it says computers. I know I'm going to use the computer's information, so I put the 6. And then it also says about, which I should have done in pink because that's a keyword, which tells me I'm going to estimate. Well, it says about 2,400 will be spent on computers, so that is the answer. But what you need to figure out is what you're doing with 6 and 2,400. What you're doing to get to this answer. So that is something that we haven't done yet, and that's basically what they're looking for with number 1. And then it's nice because 2 and 3 are back to regular problems like what we've been doing all along. Number 4, it's just asking if they have more than 110 CDs. I would add the word altogether to make it more clear exactly what you're doing with these numbers. So if they were to combine all their CDs together, would they have more than this? That's what it's asking.